Okay, so I'm gonna show the French fishtail. This is what I did for most of my competitions, but this one's a little bit harder. So what I do is I try to find like where the arch of her eyebrow is, part the hair. I'm using a mechanical pencil. I suggest doing that for a lot of parts too. I used to have a hair tool that did this, but I can't find it. And then it's just easier to do that. So I'm just doing like a really far side part kind of down her hair. And then I'm gonna do it on the other side. And then she's not competing, so I don't have to worry about this being even. And then she's gonna love this part. We're gonna flip this over. And then I'm putting the rest of her hair into a low ponytail just to get it out of the way. Probably taking a little bit more from the back just so I have room to work with it. And you can also do this to like, if they just want like a French braid at the front, starting off with this so that you don't add in too much hair in the beginning. And then you end up with like a French braid that's like crooked or has too much on one side. And then I'll let you flip your fun mohawk back. I'm gonna ask her to move her phone up a little bit so that her head's up more. All right, and then I'm gonna be back here.
Owie.
And then I take like a very, very thin piece from the front. It doesn't even have to cover like all the way to the side because you're gonna get there. Look like at Olivia's like face. There you go.
Hi.
And then, like I said, you could just do a braid, French braid here if you wanted to, or even like a normal braid. But for the French fishtail, you take a very tiny piece off this side, move it over, tiny piece off this side, move it over. So it's just the two halves. And then same thing you did with the braid, add a tiny piece of hair, add the hair that you were gonna move over, bring that all over, add a tiny piece of hair, add the side that you're gonna move it all over to, and then bringing that to the other side. I know it's hard because I use my pinkies to see. And then this is why you don't really need to make sure it goes all the way to this side, because you can do that yourself when you're adding all of the hair back in. And then I'll just continue to do this one. This one I feel like is a little bit easier if you're not super good at tight braids, because there's so many of these that if one's like not super tight, it's okay. But it is harder because this one does take a lot more time to do than a braid. Our videographer is agreeing that it takes a lot more time than a braid. I would have to take like arm breaks when I was doing this on myself for competition because my arms would get so tired. As I'm losing the whole thing. It's so much harder to do it on someone else. Yeah, I think hair is easier to do it on yourself, but some people don't agree. So yeah, and then
There we go. That looks nice. All nice and taut.
Yeah, see, like I said, it's easier to do it tight because there's so many little steps. Each one doesn't have to be extremely tight, and you can also kind of pull it at the end. And this one would be one you definitely use hairspray for because you get a fair amount of flyaways just with the nature of the braid. I'm just gonna stop here. So we just keep going until all the hair there. I would use one of these like the thinner little hair ties and then put everything up into a ponytail and then braid the bun or do the wraparound bun that I feel like works the best.